So far this month, we have had 723 applications for SpeakerHub, which is really cool because there's 723 new speakers who are interested in joining SpeakerHub, and we've put them all on a waiting list. One of the things that we'll talk about going forward is why we're going to that model. Number one is spam, because people spam us a lot trying to go ahead, Andrew. What were you going to say? I see you
Yeah, I know.
doing
I
sign language.
we need to do hand signals. The official start to the meeting.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll do that in a second. I want to get this out before that though.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, um, so we're going to try to add some structure. I didn't want to put this structure conversation on the recording, so but yeah, we're going to try to add some structure to it so that we can have more concentrated calls and try to eliminate. I love the commentary and the interaction, but we piggyback. We looked at it, was like we piggybacking for 16 minutes, where it's like, yeah, I want to add to the same thing that they just said, and then another person comes and adds to the same thing that they just said. So it ends up being kind of a piggyback ride, and we want to kind of eliminate that. Um, when we make that switch, the beginning part will be more introductions like we normally do. Go ahead and celebrate the wins, go into the lessons, and then Q&A at the end. So then the questions and the comments are really just about the overall thing versus interjecting and kind of holding up the flow. So I think this is going to be good. It's part of growing. Um, we started doing this because we did it before, but I also wanted to be, you build in public. And I think a lot of times we try to get better in private and then just show up as this finished product. Now I'm gonna let y'all see the shitty versions of this that we started off with and watch us get better. And we're going to continue to get better in front of your eyes. And everybody will watch me get better at this because I can't tell you that you should get better if you didn't get to watch me get better. Right. So now I'm going to get into the regular part. This was just my little family and friends pep talk before we start the recording. So, hey, everybody, I want to welcome. Is it ready? You ready now? Okay. All right. Raymar, start right here. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Friday, March the 21st, 12 o'clock speaker co-working. I am Ron Story. I am the chief bottle washer, shoe shiner at SpeakerHub. It is me along with a team of 42 other people. 24 of them are full-time. 18 are contractors that help us to keep this machine going. This is our daily co-working session. I'm here with Angela Lewis and a bunch of other our members that help us to get booked on more stages, and we help them to get booked on more stages. So the purpose of this call is to answer questions from speakers around the world, whether they're a SpeakerHub member or not. We want to help people to get more attention to their products, to their services, to the work that they're doing. And the main thing, we used to say our job was to amplify the voices of speakers, in which it is. But it also, our secondary mission is to help those speakers generate revenue so that they can continue to be speakers. The average speaker stays in the business about 9 months before they give up. They don't change their name on LinkedIn. They don't change their LinkedIn title away from speaker, but they've moved on to something else because they weren't able to get any results on the promises that were made to them when they made the transformation from whatever they were doing into being a speaker. In the past, I was very critical of those who sold those promises. But right now, I'm a bit more empathetic because I realize that it's not the service provider's job to make someone else's dream come true, right? We're not in the dream realization business. We're in the dream activation business. Let me say it again. It's two different things. Dream realization is on the back of you, AJ, John, Alicia, Jasmine. Dream activation, we can help you to activate that dream by giving you a step-by-step process to get closer to whatever your dream is. So I'm gonna stop being so critical of the people who sold the dream because you got to buy a dream before you can pursue it. But I will be, a bit more active on our calls about helping you to get closer to that dream. But it's not our job, it's yours. So if you're willing to do the work, we're willing to give you the systems, we're willing to give you the coaching, the commentary, and everything else. But also, everyone else that's in the crowd, they're willing to be your examples. There are people on here who have already accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, right? So, from a business standpoint, what Ann McNeil has done with her business, we all aspire to in some way, right? Longevity, results wise, if we have a business, she's accomplished a lot of things. So she can be a great demonstration to us from that perspective. From a leadership standpoint, maybe no one on the team has led a larger group than Bart. So we can listen to Bart about leadership because of his rank in the military. He probably has more leadership experience than most of us in leading teams. So I'm just giving these two individuals as examples, not putting them on a pedestal or a spotlight, but just saying that within this community, you should be able to find someone that's a little bit further down the street than you that can probably give you some instructions under one rule, that when someone who's further behind you asks you for feedback, you're willing to reach back and give them the same feedback. So that's the spirit of SpeakerHub. That's what I try to be an example of. I'm not better than you. I'm just a little bit further down the street and willing to look back to tell you where the potholes are. So any wins for this week so far? Good to see you, John Diggs. I see you moved the lighting back in front of you so that it's dark in your room. You got to move the eclipse, bro.
I'm still
John's
ahead
head
of
is
my
always
life. I'm
blocking
still
his
ahead of
lighting.
something.
That's it, what they say, giving thanks to my Lord and Savior, who's the head of my life. That's it.
I had
So
a good day yesterday, as you notice. I wasn't here.
there it is.
You would have known if I was here, right?
Oh yeah, we
But
missed you.
anyway,
So
yeah, I had a workshop slash, I think I told Andrew about it, workshop slash trade show, and it was very, very successful because I had one gentleman, and it's really weird. He questioned me the most of all the people that's coming up to my booth and table about what I do and everything. And I mean, I had a draw at the end, and it's really weird. I didn't pull the draw, someone else pulled the draw, and he won, my nice basket with some booze and all that stuff. No, I'm only kidding. My nice basket, right? But it's 30 employees, and he, really, really good lead, really question what would I do, dissect. Then I have an HR person who thinks she was king of the hill, literally grilled me for like a half an hour talking about KPIs and how would I deal with a group as opposed to a CFO and a CEO and all that. I was ready for her, and based on the conversation I was having for her, brought two more people to my table. So she totally at the end says, I'd be a good fit for their company to come in and do whatever the program. Yeah, so it was really, I tell you, by the time I was finished, I had no saliva left in my mouth because it was like a revolving door based on the banner and based on it. I even had a single individual who says, I don't care about my company. I don't care what you do at my company. I want you to work with me based on the framework of the burnout pie. Because he says,
there
I'm
you go.
burnt.
But that's
So
it.
it was a great day.
No, I think that's
Long, but great.
so. I want to make a point here. I think that you make a great point, Jasmine.
Yeah.
Were you asked any questions by her that you were surprised by?
If I asked, but by her, she asked me any question I was surprised by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when she got into some of the questions she asked me, I would have said this is in a one-on-one with the CFO, like KPIs and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she was really, I didn't expect that at a trade
Right.
show with people lining up to speak with me.
Gotcha.
So, I didn't rush her off, and I just basically said, you know what, when I go into an organization, I start at the top. They're going to tell me how they want me to proceed. They're going to tell me, do I do individual first? Then she wants to say, well, what if 15 people in the group, there's 20 people and 15 people have mental health and one has something. It's almost as if she was a setup
Well,
initially.
I'll show you what the reason why I asked that. A lot
Mm,
of times people don't want to go on podcasts.
yeah.
And the podcast is the only environment where a speaker is really tested about what they're doing, what their product is, so forth and so on, because it's a dialogue environment, right? Outside of a sales call, the podcast is where you're really questioned about what you do, forced to look at it from a different perspective, learn to think about things from a different perspective. That's the importance of going on the podcast in order to help you to get better at answering those questions.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lot of customers up front currently, the
Yeah.
podcast kind of condition you for that. So I want to make sure that we're using these things and we're preparing. Most of my athletes here know, and I use a lot of athletic examples because a lot of the things that you do in practice in week 1, you may not use until week 7, but you're still practicing it in week 1, week 2. That fake punt that you see your favorite team run, that trick play, they've been practicing that trick play for 12 weeks before it finally made it into the game. And it may only be used once, but if they never practice for it, they may never be able to take it to the field. And I think preparation is probably the one weakness that I've found in new entrepreneurs and new speakers. They're usually underprepared for what may happen. Now, I'm going to use myself as an example, right? Because, and this is just to show you that we lead by example here. So a couple weeks ago, I showed you all a survey. Do y'all remember that? I said, hey, you want to survey your customers to see what they want and to do all of those things, right? So in the last, since February 25th, we've completed 736 of those surveys, right? I've met with, up until this morning, 168 people face-to-face since March the 1st, right? So when I say, hey, I don't really feel bad when people say I'm working a lot, I'm like, I did 168 meetings in the last 16 days, right? And I still have another 145 or 150 that are forward on my calendar. So why do I bring that up? Because that practice gave me the insight that I need in order to build the product that I think you all deserve with SpeakerHub. I can't build this thing by making assumptions as to what you all need and what you all want. So not only did I do those 168 meetings, I did 45 of these calls, I think, so far, because we do it every day, 3 days a week, right? So I've done about 40 of these calls also, talking with you all and getting you all's feedback about the new designs and things of that sort. We have to practice to get the research we need so that we can build the products that our customers want, but also so that when we get on stage, the person says, man, this dude really gets us. He really understands us. So when Janika says, Ron, I'm really glad that you're talking about this. Or someone else, Alicia says, man, I love when you go over this. Or Sharon says, Ron, this was incredible. Or John sends me a message, dude, thank you for this. It wasn't that moment. There wasn't something serendipitous that I have this magic spell. It was that I talked to so many other folks who said they needed that thing. And I just happened to manifest it on the call when you were talking about it. I practiced it ahead of time. I talked to AJ the day before. Yo, man, what do you think we should talk about with this? Like, did I present that right? He said, nah, this part was messed up or whatever. And say, yeah, you ain't do that part that good, bro. I think you should cover that again later next week or something, because that part, I knew what you was trying to say, but it didn't come across right. So as a leader, we can't be afraid of feedback. Does that make sense? Now, here's the thing. As speakers, we are usually offended by feedback because the first defense is, how they gonna tell me? They gonna tell you with their wallet when they don't buy your stuff. That's how they gonna tell you. They gonna speak green. They may not speak English or Spanish, but they gonna speak money and they not gonna buy your stuff. So I just wanted to be an example to say, hey, don't be afraid to do the work today so that you can get the results you want down the road. Now, did it hurt us to turn off signups from SpeakerHub? We were growing 30% week over week. We didn't let anybody sign up since February 25th because I didn't like what they were signing up for. That's a huge decision, meaning I had to say, hey, look, I'm willing to eat this month. I can't wait till March 25th come. So my 30 days is over with this mess, right? But we have to be willing to build the right product. Is that fair? So that's what I want to talk about today. Is there anybody who needs help or direction with doing customer development? And what I mean by customer development, that's a software term, meaning I need to talk to more customers to find out how I can find those 5 people that could be my first 5 customers. How many of you all have 5 consulting customers that pay you right now on a monthly basis? Okay. How many of you all would like to have 5 consulting customers that pay you on a monthly basis? Okay. All right, cool. So we're in the right place, right? You see, my research led to that question. This is why we do it, right? So I want to walk you all through how to do that. So the last, maybe a week ago, we went in about this survey, right? Did everybody get the link to the survey so that you can start making your own? No? Okay, so let's go through that. Today, we're just going to focus on that survey. Do you remember, if you were here yesterday, I mentioned I'm going to start giving homework, right? So that we could say, okay, did they get this done? Because if you don't get it done, we just playing games. We just patty caking each other. Oh, he's great. They're great. And then ain't nobody doing nothing, right? So I don't want to give participation trophies, right? I want to celebrate the wins. So let's go over this surveying format. All right, one moment. And all right, so let me bring it up here. And I'm going to share the link with everyone so that you can see how we do this. Now, this whole entire call is going to be about how do you develop a product that customers want? How do you develop a product that customers want? So I'm going to bring the survey up here so that you all can see it. Mine will look a little bit different because I'm going to go into edit mode instead of user mode, but it's the same questions, right? So who would like to be the example? There was a group of people who said they don't have any customers. Who would like to find out how they can get 25 leads tomorrow? And I'll give you the entire thing, right? Jasmine, you want to do it? Okay, cool. So let's bring Jasmine up here, and I don't know how to do it, but I'll just leave it the way it is. Jasmine, put your hand up. Can you put your hand up in the thing? So then it puts you at no, in the computer.
What do you ask me?
You know how it says raise your hand on the computer.
Oh, raise my hand. Raise my hand.
Yeah,
raise my hand.
No, just kidding. Right. Now, watch this. So I'm going to make a copy of our thing here, and then I'm going to make one for Jasmine. So you can see how you all should be editing this on your own. Right. So I'm going to make a copy. And the survey form that I'm using is called paper form. But you can do this with Google Docs. You don't need anything fancy to do this. I just happen to have a relationship with paper form, so I use the systems that we use, right? So, Jasmine, in one sentence, tell me what you do.
I am a health and wellness leadership coach. Okay. Health and wellness leadership development coach, sorry.
So let me ask you, I asked you a bad question. Let me ask you a better question. Who and how do you help? So let me give you an example. Let me demonstrate first. I help speakers to get booked for paid speaking gigs, podcast interview, and press coverage so that they don't have to run TikTok ads or Facebook ads, right, in order to get clients. That's really what I do, right? So if that's my one sentence, what's your one sentence? You notice I mentioned, one second, you notice I mentioned what I do, how I do it, who I do it for, and what they get. What I do, how I do it, who I do it for, and what they get. Does that make sense? AJ, what do you do?
I help speakers create their own stage by doing international retreats with 15 people or less, so they don't have to worry about getting big audiences to make $100,000 in a weekend.
You see how he did it? What he do, how he did it, who he did it for, and what they benefit from it. Kevin, let's go through it. I want to give a couple examples before we get to Jasmine. Who do you help? How do you help?
I help youth and business learn how to go after and achieve their goals through the journaling and my map process
Okay. So that they don't have to do what?
so that they don't have to wander. The map is how to get there quicker, better, and faster.
Yep. Cool. Right. So I help this group to do this thing, right? Or I do this using this method for these people so that they don't have to do this. There's a lot of different ways to talk about it, but that's the easy way. I do this, doing this way for this group so that they don't have to do this. Got it? So for me, I help speakers and coaches, right? To get booked on podcasts, speaking gigs, and press coverage so that they don't have to dance on TikTok, right? In order to get customers, right? I think if we can learn to say what we do in that way, the people that we're talking to become more intrigued. I'm a speaker coach. Well, what does that mean to me? Nothing. I help coaches do this. Well, that don't mean nothing to me. What's the outcome? Does that make sense? What's the outcome? Let me give you a great example. One of the great examples, it's a great book called Start With Why, right? Have you all ever heard of that book before?
I have that book. Yeah.
Okay. Has everyone else ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to show you something, right? And let's go over to HP computers, right? So I'm going to go over to the HP store. And it's in Spanish. I don't want it in Spanish. I want it in English. Let me add that. And how do I change my idioma? Come on now. Let me go to HP US. Maybe they'll bring me. There we go. Right? Is this still going to be in Spanish? Dang it. HP, you all are knuckleheads.
Ron, there was a little flag at the bottom. Maybe if you click that flag.
I think it's this one. It has US. There it is. Right?
Yep.
So let's go over to HP OmniBook laptops, right? So let's look at this here. OmniBook 14-inch laptop, Intel Core processor, next gen NPU. You know what NPU is, Kevin? You know what 47 tops is, John?
No, not at all.
You know what 3K OLED 47 120 HZ means? Right? Is that a what or a why?
What?
This is a lot of what, right? Apple just came out with a new MacBook last week, the new MacBook Airs M4. Look at this. Speed of lightness. Oh, dude, it must be fast and it's light. The MacBook Air is the world's most popular laptop for a reason, actually a lot of reasons. 18 hours of battery life and a whole new level of performance for work and play. And Apple Intelligence helps you to build the things that get done, helps you to get things done effortlessly, right? Built to go places. Remarkably light, less than a half an inch, right? Like they're showing you all the why you should get it. They ain't talking about the what you get. What type of processor is it? How fast is it? How many tops? How many hertz? You notice they're starting with the stuff that matters to us, right? You may not know what the M4 chip is, but it's fast. It zips, right? It's 23 times faster than the old MacBook. You get batteries for 18 hours. Like this is English. We understand this. A lot of times when we describe what we do, we're talking in a language that our customers don't understand. Is that fair? So we need to be able to get to it in one line. I help speakers to get booked for podcasts, interviews, paid speaking gigs, and press so that they don't have to dance on TikTok in order to get clients. It's very clear what they get out of working with me. All y'all get customers and exposure without having to do this on TikTok all day. How many of y'all enjoy Janika, you enjoy doing TikTok dances with your granddaughters? Exactly. She don't want to do that. You know, I can't imagine Darren out there trying to do the MC Hammer dance to go viral. Like, we ain't doing that. You know, I'm gonna say F that 42 times. I'm not doing it. Right? So we got to get what we say or what we do down into one strong line. Now, I know we're going to get into the survey, but if we don't get this line right to intro the survey, guess what? Ain't nobody going to want to help us with the survey. Does that make sense? So, Janika, you're up. One line. What do you do? And it's okay to get better. This is the worst you'll ever be. Let's say that again. Today is the worst I will ever be. That should be your mantra every morning when you wake up. Today is the worst I will ever be. I don't think y'all understand how important that is. This is the worst you will ever be at this. So go ahead, Janika.
Let me see. I help people relieve pain without medication. I help people relieve pain without medication using reflexology, which is a touch therapy for pain relief in 30, 60 to 90 days.
Okay. Can I help you a little bit?
Please do.
Okay. So I help people with touch therapy so that they don't have to take medicine. Or I help people to relieve pain with touch therapy so that they don't have to take medicine.
Right.
And they can see results in 30 to 60 or 90 days. Or I would just say in 90 days, because that's still better. Right? I help people to relieve their pain using touch therapy so that they don't have to take medicine and they see results in whatever time period.
That's it.
Is that helpful?
Very helpful.
Right? That's a big deal to be able to explain that in one line, because people are like, how? What do you do? We see people, they like the cups. They put the cups on their back and they look like a Ninja Turtle. All these people doing that, what's that called? Cupping, glassing, something like that.
Cupping.
Cupping, right? Now, why would they go through all of those bruises? Because it must work.
Yes.
It must work in some way. So before you tell me you about to light my back on fire, you better tell me what I'm getting.
Right.
You're not about to have me walking around here. I can't even sleep on my back because I got these bruises. No, it better be a result. So we got to be able to describe what we do. Is this helpful?
Very helpful.
Cardis the best. Cardis, show us that you are the best, because again, today is the worst you will ever be at this. Go ahead, Cardis. What do you do in one line?
So I basically go into different organizations and teach one-on-one consulting on how to be better leaders using the best framework. And out of that framework, they learn emotional intelligence, how to build better teams and build trust in their teams. So they have less retention issues.
One line.
Okay.
Got
okay.
one line.
Less retention issues.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back to our format. This is good. Okay. This is the worst you'll ever be at it. What do you do? Right? How do you do it? Who do you do it for? What do they get? You can say those four things in whatever order. Yep. So you can say, I help leaders to do this using my best framework so that they don't have to get this thing.
Yep.
So let's try it again.
Okay. I go into different organizations and teach leaders using the best framework to be able to get the best out of their teams.
Okay, that's good. Does it only work inside of an organization?
No.
Okay, so leave that part out. I help leaders.
Okay.
Right? To maximize their teams using the best framework so that they reduce turnover or whatever it is. But leave the disclaimer out at the beginning.
Okay. Understood.
Does that make sense? Because it should work in a coffee shop as well as in the office building.
Right.
Right. So let's try it again.
Yeah. So I go and help leaders.
I help leaders.
Okay. I help leaders understand their organization and using the best framework to enhance their business to go to the next level.
Doesn't that sound so much better? What do y'all think? Am I the
Yeah.
only one? Was that an improvement or no? He had 4 sentences before, right? He got it down to 8 words.
Yeah.
It was 4 sentences before. Imagine talking to somebody. They say, "What are you doing?" You go into this whole thing. They like, "I done forgot because I don't remember the first sentence."
Mhm.
But okay, just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, 1 sentence again. Do it again. I believe in you. You can do it.
I help leaders optimize their organizations through the best framework to lead better teams.
Hey, look at that. High freaking 5. Way to go. Right? Now, why did I want to go through that? Because we have to be able to communicate that. Good to see you, Erica. What we're doing is walking through how anybody on this call can get 25 leads for their business this weekend. You can get 25 leads for your business this weekend using what I'm showing, right? So let me come back over to my survey, right? So here in this introduction, we're going to tell people what we do, right? Does that make sense?
I got
So,
a question, Ron, before you get into the survey.
yep.
Can you say that I'm trying to develop a template, man, for the who,
Yeah, I
what,
got it. I got
why.
you. Yep. So we call it the MTO statement. And here, let me show it. So if this is your chance, if you want a screenshot, you know, I can't. Here's the one thing about being an influencer and a thought leader of some type. You can't get mad when people copy your stuff if you influencing them. Does that make sense? If you're an influencer, you should be willing to influence. I'm just willing to influence. Let me make sure I don't delete something on my daggone thing. How do I zoom in? Let me zoom in. And I'm going to show y'all. Wait, I zoomed out. My bad. Let me zoom in so it's big enough for y'all to screenshot. Can you see it better now, Darren? Is that good or no?
Yes, I'm about to screenshot it. Thank you, man.
All right. So there it is. So it's the basic thing. I help this group to get this outcome without doing the thing that they hate so that they can get this thing over here. Right? In my company, 5 Contacts, I help coaches to get sales appointments without having to build complicated funnels so that they can make more money. That's the basic version. Master that one. If you want to put a time constraint in it, then it's the advanced one. I help this group to do this thing in this time period without doing the things that they hate, right? Why? Why is the advanced one even more effective? Because it adds accountability, right? By saying, Janika saying she can make my pain go away in 90 days, she's willing to bet on that. She probably has some data to say that she's gotten it done in 90 days or 60 days or 30 days. Does that make sense? So by adding that thing, it's like, oh, if I don't get it done in that time, what happens? So I'll give you a refund. Or I'll keep working with you until you do. But it adds accountability, and most offers don't have accountability. So if I said, hey, I'll help you lose 15 pounds in the next 15 years, how many of y'all signing up for that? Nobody. Dude, 15 years, I can do that on my own. I can keep eating what I'm eating to do that. I can just get sick one week and lose that, right? Give me one bad plate of food and I'm gonna lose that in a week, right? But if I add the accountability in a shorter period of time, it makes it more realistic. Does that make sense? So Darren, let's use it now. Now that you have the formula, and let's go through it. Let's do it, Darren, and then we're gonna get into the survey.
So I empower clients to build confidence, leadership, and overcome challenges through personalized strategies for growth and success.
Okay. Let me tell you why clients isn't the best way. Because they're not your clients when you're talking to them. Do you understand that? You got to call out the people who are not your clients, because by coming to you, they get the transformation. You see what I mean? Your clients already have the transformation. The people that you're trying to win over, they're not your clients. So you got to talk to them in the state that they're in so that when they come to you, they get the transformation. Does that make sense? When people are before they meet me, they are just a speaker.
Gotcha.
When they meet me, they become a speaker that runs a business. When they meet me, they're just a business owner. When they talk to me, they become a business owner that is now using speaking. You see the transformation. But if I say I only do this for my clients, well, dude, I ain't your client, so how can you help me? So let's try it again with your target avatar. Is it leaders? Is it CEOs? Is it teachers? Is it superintendents? Is it school principals? Do you see what I mean? Call them out.
Yeah, so I guess my question, Ron, is like I have that and I have something that I have like a specialty in. So depending on who I'm talking to, does that matter?
Well, let me give you a great example. You got two hands?
Yeah,
Why? Why God give you two of them?
to use them is better than one.
Yeah.
The
So
almost-
have two different ways to say this. One for principals, one for teachers, one for coaches, one for break dancers, one for food truck drivers. You ain't limited to this one thing. We got to get out of this. I got to have this one perfect universal thing. No, that ain't how it works.
All
We
right, well,
got
check
dollar
this out.
bills, we got pennies, we got quarters, we got $5 bills, we got $20 bills. They could have just said, you just got money. Well, no, there's different money for different situations. Does that make sense? So what were you going to say, Darren?
So I have this one too. So I specialize in empowering men to break through life obstacles, regain that confidence, and take control of their future
How?
by providing personalized strategies for growth and success.
You see that? You see how that makes a difference?
Yeah.
Right? Hey, I can help you lose 15 pounds without having to give up this thing, right? You got to give them the how, because they're like, well, wait a minute, it's a bit too vague. But if I could bring in the how I do it, I help speakers, right, to get booked on podcasts, paid speaking gigs, and press so that they can generate clients without having to dance on TikTok. Ain't no question how they gonna get clients. We're gonna do podcasts, paid speaking gigs, and press. Man, do I got to do TikToks? Nope. Do I got to run Facebook ads? Nope. All that is answered in one succinct line. Now, here's the thing. Today is the worst you will ever be at this. So write down 45 of them. Let me show y'all, dude. Like y'all think I'm not a genius. I'm just not. I'm really average, but I'm just willing to put in more work at solving the problem. I'm willing to play with this wrench and work on this damn thing until I get it right. Now, let's look at this headline that you see on SpeakerHub right here. I went through 300 iterations of this. I'm not kidding. And I put them all in our group and we voted on them. And I sent them to AJ. I said, man, and I put it in our speaker ambassador group and I sent it to other folks that I respected and they gave me feedback and they criticized, well, you should have put this period here. And I had to deal with all of it. But just by getting this right, we increased signups by 60% this week. But I had to deal with it. Wait, hold on. Wait, let's go over here. Let me find it. Hold on. Hold on. That was yesterday. I got to go back to this week. All right. You see this? I'm going through this. I'm doing this. I'm just practicing in front of y'all. I'm going and figuring it out and then bringing it over to y'all. Look, this ain't a short thing. I'm putting them in. Here's a screenshot. Let's fix it. I hate this. How do we fix that? Look at all the iterations we went through before. I got a lot more scrolling to do, guys. I didn't sit with this for 2 minutes. right? Because it's important to me to be able to clearly communicate what we do to you guys. Look at this. There's 10 of them. Okay. The famous get paid to speak, the best speak to get paid. That's how I felt. But the response is like, yeah, it's a bit, you're being an asshole. Don't say that. So I had to change it. Like all of my speaker friends were like, yeah, don't say that. Right? That's maybe how you feel, but that ain't how they feel. You're going to alienate a lot of people. So I had to work on it. And ChatGPT gave me, look, I want to present speaking as an alternative marketing channel for service-based businesses. Basically, anyone who gives advice. Why can't we do this to just get better? You got one chance to make a first impression with who you're talking to. And if you don't get that right, they're not going to do the survey. Is this making sense? Right? So I worked on that. And then when I got the headline right, and I'm like, well, let's change your voice. What's your thoughts on that? Okay, I think speaking is the low level of business. A higher aspirational level is our intellectual property and being a thought leader with courses. How can I capture that in the headline? I mean, this is a long prompt, 2 hours of me just working, trying to get one line right. Right? So I don't like the part so that you can transform every stage into clients. Okay, well, fix that. So it gave me something better. Is this a great example? Like I'm just building this in front of you guys. Right? So we settled with this. Make more. Why do we go with make more? Because it could be make more money. You can fill in the blank. It's your business. If you want to make more connections, cool, use SpeakerHub. You want to make more money, use SpeakerHub. You want to make more exposure, use SpeakerHub. You want to make more courses, use SpeakerHub. You want to make more appearances on stage, we don't care. Just make more. Does that make sense? So, since we're talking about it, let's talk about it. I will introduce you to the new slogan for SpeakerHub. This is what you'll see everywhere. SpeakerHub, make more. I'm tired of people being broke in relationships, broke on stage, broke with speaking opportunities, broke within their business, ain't got enough clients. Make more. We're going to help you to make more. Fill in the blank with whatever you want. We will not operate from a position of lack at SpeakerHub. We added 400,000 new podcasts and nobody noticed it. We went from 3.1 million podcasts last Saturday to 3.5 million. And nobody said, man, y'all added 400,000. But we did. We're going to operate from a position of more. But that's the essence of what you got to find. What does it mean in your business? Right? Jadika, take less. Medicine, take less whatever. Take less what. Find something that captures what you do. Is this helpful? I'm not grandstanding. I'm just showing you that this is the process that we go through. It's the same process. We figuring this shit out too. And it's hard. But it's worth it.
And it's really challenging, but to get the feedback and to practice it is very helpful.
Yeah, but we're on this call every day. Show your stuff. I show, look, you want to see what we're working on? Look at it. Maria, come show this. Show this. Look, I need feedback. You're on the call every day. Everybody who had something new, I bought. A book come out, cool. Send me the link. I'm going to buy it. I got a new thing, cool. One lady didn't have a product. She got on here and told me that she went on a podcast with 200 people and didn't know she should make her offer because it was 200 people around the world and they weren't in the US. I said, you got 60 seconds to send me a link. I don't live in the US. I'll buy it. Just so that she can remove that limiting thought. Now she came up with a crazy product that she sold me. We won't get into that, but she sold me. The people who on the call know the name of that product. That product was weird, but I bought it. I gave her the $27. She became a different person. She came to the call the next day. All of her stuff was set up and ready to go. She showed me she stayed up all night fixing them damn products. Because all it takes is to be unprepared once to realize the opportunity that was missed. So Darren, dude, come on, man. You got my personal phone number. If you don't start sending me this stuff for us to look over, right? I've texted you several times on different stuff. Ain't no excuses, guys. You got other people's in here phone numbers. You can send this stuff to. All right. Makes sense. So we're about to go into overtime, but I got time today. Right? There's the new song, I got time today. Today I got time. Right? So we're still going to get in the survey, but let's go one line. Erica Shoemate, what you doing one line?
Come back to me. I'm not ready.
Nah, one line. You got one line. Let me bring up the page. They know I ain't ready. You know? One line. What do you do? First off, here's what you need to answer before you say your one line. What's the target avatar that you help? What is it that they're looking to get? Let's just go up here to the basic. The target avatar, what is it that they're looking for? What's the thing that they hate? What's the benefit of following you? I help coaches, target avatar. What do they want? I help them to get more sales appointments without doing what? They don't want to build complicated funnels in TikTok, right? So that they can do what? Make more money. So tell me your target avatar. Who is it?
It's multiple people.
Wait, well, hold on. Wait a minute. It's multiple people. Darren, how many arms you got? 2. Why? Because you can use them for multiple different things. So you can have multiple of these. Just give me one.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. That's why I was like, I felt stuck. Let me get it together. Leadership, organizational leadership.
Okay. Who's the avatar?
What do you mean by avatar, like the target?
Yeah, who is the person? You can't say I help organizational leadership. I help CEOs,
You're right.
I help
sorry.
CTOs, I help
Yes,
HR
yes,
leaders.
okay. Got you. I help I'll go with this arm. I help federal employees pivot from public to private sector. There we go.
Okay. What's the thing that they hate?
This is
Huh?
the whiplash of no job.
Okay, right. And what's the ultimate goal of going from public to private?
It's even bigger than that. To gain, I'm gonna say it. I don't know if it makes sense.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay.
Did you see those hundreds of iterations that I went through?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is your first iteration. You will do 99 more minimum, okay? So let's just get the first one out there so that we can correct it.
Okay, so to gain financial freedom, because it's private and entrepreneurship is what I actually teach. So that's why I was like,
Okay, all right. So I help federal employees make the transition from public sector to private sector so that they don't have to worry about losing their jobs so they can feel more financially secure. You see how we just took those 4 things? Does this make sense, guys?
It does.
Okay, if you can solve those 4 things. Okay. Erica, let's hear you say it.
I help federal employees pivot to the private sector to help ensure that they have financial security and freedom.
Okay, so that's good. But let me give you all something first, right? This is one of the biggest things that I've run into. And I had to deal with this years ago when I was when I had the Allstate offices and when I was running 300 farmers agencies. People modified the model before they tried the model. The words are on the screen. I help federal employees to transition from public sector to this so that they don't have to go without a job, so they can feel more secure. The words were there. Don't modify the words in between at the beginning. Just plug in, play. Is that fair? And then in the private time, fix it. Because while you're trying to, instead of plug and play, you're trying to modify the words and the conjunctions and the adverbs. And it's like, oh, this is hard to get. No, this isn't about Erica. This is overall. We all are very intelligent people, but we struggle with something called pride of authorship. I want to put my sauce on it.
Oh, no, I didn't. I just want to tell you, I actually used
This wasn't about you. It wasn't about you. I'm talking to the
Okay.
person in YouTube who is going to do this, and they going to say they don't have it. I couldn't figure it out. I ain't talking about you. But Cinderella, if you find the shoe, try it on. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
I need that shoe. Thank you.
Right? So let's go back to it. I help who?
Federal employees
To do what?
pivot
Without
to
what?
private sector.
No.
Oh,
To pivot
sorry.
to the private sector without what? Losing their job, remember?
Yeah, without losing their job. Mhm.
So that they can do what? Feel more financially secure.
Secure. Mhm.
Okay, let's go through this. Now
Okay.
you do it.
Okay. I help federal employees to pivot. That's the.
From the public sector to the private sector.
Yep. Yes.
So
I
get
help-
rid of,
you
watch
start
this.
up.
Use transition to the private sector, right? Just
Okay.
leave the public thing out. Keep it simple. I help
Okay.
public employees to transition to the
Private
private
sector.
sector,
Mhm.
right? So
Okay.
start from the beginning.
Okay. I help. I got it now. Sorry.
Employees.
I got it now. I'm just having. It's me.
No, this is
Okay.
it though. It's
I
okay.
help.
Now, let me tell you why this is really important for Erica. Let me stop for a second. Because Erica will tell you she deals with anxiety and other things like this. And it's okay. This isn't putting her on the spot. But our customers don't care. My customers don't care that I got asthma.
Nope.
They don't care I got 2 kids. They don't care that my girlfriend argues with me about stuff I don't care about. They don't care about that. You know, they care about how can I help them. So
Mhm.
despite all of the things that I got to deal with in this business, I still got to communicate clearly to them. And if that means I got to practice and get better at it in front of everybody so that I'm in front of these 18 people and I'm nervous, when I get in front of that one person, I'm gonna knock it down because she gonna hear Ron in her head. Don't change the words. That's what she gonna hear. Don't modify that. Just say, right?
Yep.
All right. Wait 1 second, Jasmine. I got you. But so you can put it in the chat, and then watch the training. I'll come back and you can watch the part about the about how to use the survey, right? So Erica, I want to stay on this because this is really, really, really important, not just for you, but there's somebody else who's going to give up at this point. This is that dip that we talked about.
Mm.
Remember we talked about the dip the other day where we're like, yeah, I got it. And then when we get into it, we're like, oh, wait a minute. And I got a decision. Either I'm going to struggle with it until I get it right, or I'm going to quit. And I ain't going to let you quit. I'm here to help you, right? So let's federal employees
Mm-hmm.
pivot to private
Mm-hmm. Pivot. Yep. To the private sector.
without losing their money so
Yep.
that they can be more financially secure.
Yes.
We got it? So let's do it.
Yep. I help federal employees pivot to the private sector without losing their financial security. Nope, I messed it up.
No. So, well, here, watch this. Let's go even better. I will coach you even better. I help federal employees. And this is what everybody should do. I know for some of y'all going to say this is basic. So what? Come up here and coach then. Right?
This is actually what I write to myself. That's why I like it. Yeah.
Right? I help federal
Yeah.
employees to
Pivot.
transition
Pivot.
to the, it's okay. We're going to use this for now. You couldn't get yours right. I'm going to give you an easy, right? To private sector
Productivity.
without
UCTI.
Productivity.
losing their jobs so they can feel more financially secure, right? So now that we play with it, because sometimes if we try to think and change on the fly, we need to just write it down.
Yep.
Because you're better at reading than trying to conjecture things. We all are, because the script's already written. So let's go there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I help federal employees to transition to the private sector without losing their jobs so that they can feel more financially secure.
What do y'all think about that? That's a big freaking deal. A huge improvement, right? This is why we do this, because we all got to get better, right? We all got to get better together, though. I couldn't let her off the hook because she would have never come up in public and said that she struggled with it. And then we quit. We just don't talk to nobody. And then you know what happens? You know what people say? Well, when I get this together next week, I'm working on my value statement. Dude, if you don't get this, if you don't go and get this crap together right now, now watch this. Now, why did I put all this up here? Because you know what it shows me? Over here, we already wrote this for you. And a lot of y'all haven't even been over there to check yours. It's already written for you inside of your SpeakerHub Pro. When you log into SpeakerHub Pro and you go to Branding Kit and you go down to Frameworks, we give you something called the value proposition. It's the same thing we've been working on. I taught it back in January before it was available in here. I put it in here so that you all could go in and play with it. So it removed the excuse. And then I brought it back up a month later. So in January, we taught it. In February, we introduced Frameworks. And in March, I came back. Y'all ain't even done it. What y'all doing? Come on, players. All y'all got this. Right? Now, you can come in and edit this on your own. You know, everybody got their own thing. When you go into Frameworks, you click Generate Value Proposition Framework. It gives you your 10-second and 30-second way to say what you say. Go in and fix it. Change transition to pivot. Whatever word you want to use, go fix it. Does this make sense? So that you can start telling people what you do. Jasmine, really quick, I know you got to hop off. Go ahead and give yours.
Yeah, so I've put it on there.
No, just go ahead and say it. You got one line right now.
Okay. I help leaders create and implement health and wellness programs holistically to achieve employee well-being, improve productivity, and organizational health.
How cool is that? High freaking five. Now, let me tell you why that's so important. Because y'all know Jasmine will go on for 4 minutes talking about what she do. For her to be able to get it down, Bart said 10. For her to be able to get it down into one line, that is a big improvement. This is huge. Huge hug to Jasmine.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because we know we have to, this is a big deal. That's a big deal for us. Why?
Yeah.
Because other people see what we do when we don't see it ourselves. Right? And they don't say
Fantastic.
nothing.
Thanks
right?
for the help. I had to jump
Yeah.
on and do some more talking, but I narrated. I'm a quick student, so
There it is. Well, hey, I'll let you go. I know you got to hop off, but
Yeah.
high five. That's a huge improvement.
thank you.
This is why we do this, guys. This is what the community is about. I don't need everybody here. I just need the people who want to be here. If you're a business owner and you want to be better and you want to actually help people and get paid what you're worth to help people, we're going to show you how to do 2 things. Number 1, use the most important and most effective marketing tool you have, which is your voice. Right? That's the first thing. And then the second thing is we're going to help you to use your voice to build a business. You don't need to do all the fancy Facebook ads and all the other stuff. You just got to be better at communicating what you do. You talk to a lot of people all the time, just ineffectively. Let me say it again. You talk to a lot of people all the time, just ineffectively. And it feels good to talk to them, but it doesn't feel good when they don't react the way you want them to react. So by being able to communicate concisely what you do, you make it easier for them to tell other people. In the last 3 months, we probably had 15 people that have joined because they said, I talked with Ann McNeil and she told me I should come on this call. That means that somehow I've clearly communicated to Ann the value that we provide here. He can help you to use speaking in your business. He can help you to get more gigs, get on more podcasts. Whichever one she wants to use, it's my job to make it easy for my business to be referable. I can tell you what Jadika does. Jadika helps you to remove pain using massage and other techniques so that you can stop taking medicine, right? Because she says it all the time, right? And she's getting better at it. We go back and look at November, it's different today. That was a breakthrough moment with Jasmine because she didn't realize how much she talked, but everybody else did. Everybody else are here like, yes, right? Because we get it, right? But this is what families do. This is what we do. I get y'all comments too. Don't act like I'm immune to it. I get all of it. I understand that I be rambling sometimes and I lose control of the meeting. It's okay. I'm getting better, but that's not going to stop me from helping. I'm going to help you in spite of my flaws. Now, let me bring this into why we're going to do this survey. So there's a guy, if you haven't read this book, it's called the StoryBrand method. Right? Now, this book is developed by a guy named Donald Miller. It's one of the best ways to think about your business ever. I'm going to bring it up here so you all can see it. Why? Because this is a game changer. Let me find out which one I want to use because a lot of these are goofy, right? So open up the image over here. Now this is direct, it's too small, shoot. Let me see if I can get a bigger one, right? So this is directly from the book. Different people have just made their own versions of it. Does this make sense?
Who's the author?
Donald Miller, right? Donald as in Donald Duck, Miller as in Miller Beer, right? So we have this character, right? Who's the character? Is it you, the consultant? Is it your client? Is it somebody on the outside? Who's the character? Who's the main character in the story?
A potential client?
Potential client. What do they run into?
Problem.
Yeah, they're a federal employee who's looking for more financial security because they're worried about their job. They're a person who's in pain that's tired of taking medicine because of the side effects. They're an entrepreneur who don't want to do TikToks and all this other social media stuff because they're working by themselves. But if you give them 30 minutes, they can explain what they do. They meet a guide. Somebody who's already been on this path before, whether successfully or maybe they didn't succeed to the greatest extent, but they can get them across this problem. They may not be able to help them with the next 5 problems, but they can help them with this problem. Now, let me give you a great example. Erica, you can help them to make the transition from public sector to private sector, right? But you may not coach them on how to get a raise, right? You may not be coaching them on how to get a promotion and get this job at this company. You're just going to help them with the first problem. Does this make sense? Now, does the guide need to be perfect? No. He just needs to be knowledgeable, just needs to be experienced. So don't let your flaws get in the way of your ability to help. Now, you're going to give them the plan. What's the plan? The same map that you already used. That's why we show our work, because I'm just showing y'all what I already did. I'm not telling you to go on podcast to build a business as a speaker if I hadn't done it. I'm not telling you to go out I've never given any advice. Here's how you can charge 50,000. I ain't never did that. I can show you how to make 50 grand. I can show you how to make more than that from the stage, right? Because I've done that, but I've never gotten paid that much to show up and perform, right? So I give you the map I got. Once I show you the map, then that's what I do. Yo, you want to use the map or not? You're not obligated to use the map, but do you want to use the map or not? Does that make sense? That's when you offer them to pay you. Show them the map. You want to use it. If you want to use it, I got you. If you don't want to use it, cool. I can introduce you to somebody else. Then you get the results. Either they succeeded or they didn't. If they didn't succeed, you bring them back and you ask them why. And you go back through the same loop until they end up here. Does that make sense? Can everybody follow this? Do you think you can follow this? Yes or no? Let me turn off my thing so I can see you all. Is this Sharon? I know Sharon is my resident self-carepreneur. She's been an entrepreneur for 32 minutes. If it makes sense to her, I know it makes sense to everybody else. Sharon, does this make sense? You muted.
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of sense. And one thing I like about it is because where I get stuck in, I have all this stuff in my mind and in my heart, but it's how do I verbalize it? I can verbalize it as a therapist, but it's different when it's out there in the world. You know what I mean?
Yep. What we say and what people hear are two different things. What we think we're saying, what we say, and what people hear are two different things.
That is the truth.
If you don't believe me, have kids. First thing I say, I told you not to do that. They say, you didn't tell me not to do that. I'm like, I sure didn't. I thought I told you not to do that.
In your head, you told them not to do that.
Yeah, because we gave them 3 steps of instructions. They heard, don't do that. They didn't understand why. They didn't understand what the consequences was. They didn't understand it was an ass whooping on the other end of it. Yeah, none of that. All they got was the instruction and the ass whooping. they confused, right?
And they hurt because you like.
Yeah, exactly. So now I can't take it back. I can't give him the belt. You know? Hey, you can whoop me back because I was stupid.
Right.
Nope. You know, just you want some ice cream? You know, what you want to eat? That's your mama. That's how your mama apologized. So you still hungry? You want to go to McDonald's? That's when you knew your mama was wrong, but she whooped you instead. All right, that's Black Family Reunion stuff. Let me get off of that.
Memphis and East St. Louis, that sounds just like my mama too.
Exactly, right? So, but do you see this method here? Is this helpful? You want to see it in action. Watch this. Here's a company that mastered this. Right? So let's go to YouTube and we're going to break down this commercial really quickly. Right? Y'all seen this dude before? I used to work for this company.
Mayhem.
See this dude? Huh?
I said he calls himself Mayhem.
Mayhem. Yep. So let's look at one of their things. Let me share it. Hopefully YouTube don't kick me off for putting this on here.
I'm your blind spot. And my job is easy. Hide big things. You're good. And if you named your own price on car insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Shop less, get more. Make one call to an Allstate.
Right? So, who's the character in that story?
The driver.
The driver, right? The driver. Who is the problem?
Mayhem.
Yeah, that idiot hanging on to her car, right? They say, yeah, go get over. I think this dude was in my girlfriend's car when she wrecked that daggone 4-wheeler when we was on vacation last month, right? Yeah, go get over. Ran over 4 bikes. Terrible. It was the worst, but we'll leave that there. But we ran, Mayhem was on that 4-wheeler with us that day, right? Then we needed a guide. Who's the guide in that situation?
Allstate.
Allstate, right? Does Allstate have the best rates? Nope. Do they have the best coverage? That's all relative. Don't matter. What she is saying is when you run into this, call us and at least we'll get you out of it. Now you go to their webpage and they give you a map called a premium quote, right? You go to their page, you get a quote. And then they're gonna have a button or an agent that's gonna call you and ask you, do you want to get this? Because we are better than Geico or better than State Farm or whatever, right? And then if they get into an accident, they get a new car, or if they don't pay their deductible, they're in bad shape. But do you see how they've illustrated that in that commercial? Let's look at another one really quickly. Because if we don't get this, the surveys will never happen, right?
I'm a parking gate and I'm all out of whack.
Please insert your parking ticket.
It's gonna take a lot more than a little ticket to get out of here. And if you have cut rate car insurance, this could leave you all bent out of shape. No! So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Someone!
That's broken too, pal.
Please insert your parking ticket.
Right?
I'm a parking gate.
So let me show you a better example of this, right? And this is just a great example to think about it. Right? Who's the main character in this political campaign? I'm with her. Who is her?
The people.
Hillary Clinton.
Who's her?
She's the
Hillary
mayor.
Clinton, right?
Right? So where does she put herself? As the guide or the character?
The character.
She made herself the character. When she ran into a problem called the emails, the email leak, she was cooked. Why? Because she's the main character. If you presidential, who you calling to be the guide? The minute that she would have said, I'm gonna call this person to fix this email thing, you know what? Donald Trump or Barack Obama, I think she used this twice. Barack Obama would have said, well, why ain't we voting for that person? Do you see what I mean? So when you put yourself as the character, the minute that they find one of your flaws, they don't trust you anymore. Does this make sense? Now, let me show you another campaign, right? What is it? Obama, since we're going to just stick with Democrats. So it ain't no political stuff, right? It was, yes, we can. There it is. I'm with her versus yes, we can. We America. I don't care about her. I don't like her anyway. I'm only voting for her because she can do something for me. Does this make sense? So he had no background to run on. He had been a grassroots, barely a senator in Illinois for 2 years. But he didn't make it about himself. He made it about who? The people. Yeah. Right? Donald Trump did the same thing. He realized he had no experience. He had failed at running for president 8 times. Right? Never been a senator or anything. So what did he say? I'm going to make America great again. Well, kind of hard to argue with that, right? You may not like him, but he didn't make it about him. So when all of his scandals came out, people's like, yeah, but that don't stop him from making America great again. Whether you agree with it or not, who cares? I ain't on here to talk about politics. I'm talking about marketing. From a marketing standpoint, make America great again is not about the president. It's about the people who believe that they want this place to be great again. Yes, we can is not about her. It's about the people that believe that they can make America great again, right? No, I'm joking. I'm just being silly. But you all get the point. We can't make it, I'm this and I'm that and I'm this. That's why you show testimonials. Right? Who did you make great, Ron? What are other people saying about you, Ron? Does that make sense? What are other people saying about SpeakerHub? Who cares what you say? We don't believe you anyway. Show me a bunch of other people that said something nice about you. Is that fair? Does this make sense before we get into the survey? I got a few more minutes. Yeah, I got time to talk about this. Somebody else is going to jump in. Muhammad Ahmed, he may come in, he may not. But does this make sense before we get into the survey?
So to summarize what you're saying we should make the story about them and what we can do for them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's why we went through that entire statement. I help speakers to get booked for paid speaking gigs, podcast interviews, and press so that they can get more clients, so that they can stop dancing on TikToks, so that they don't have to run ads, so that they can finally get paid to speak, so that I can keep giving you SpeakerHub, make more, so that they can get on more stages, so that they can impact more people. Do you see what I mean? I got 10 of these, 20 of these. Erica, is this helpful? If we get the characters out of position, we become performers instead of problem solvers. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. The performer is there to entertain. The problem solver gets paid way more to solve the problem. Right? Let me give you a great example. I'm going to show you a lady who went from performer to problem solver. This young lady right here, Rihanna. When she was a performer, she was broke. She was making some money performing, but did she become a billionaire as a performer? No, because she didn't own her intellectual property. She sold it to Rockefeller, whatever company owned her rights, right? Because they said, we'll pay you to perform. In exchange, we're going to own your IP. Maybe she didn't even write half of the songs. The Dream, another songwriter, wrote most of her songs anyway, right? So she was just the performer. Does that make sense? Watch this. Songs written by Rihanna. Right? Now, out of all the songs she put out, she only has writing credentials on 7 of them. Co-wrote, which means she put the Ella, Ella, A. That's all she did on that song. She didn't do nothing else, but she I'm just saying. Right? But do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. She was paid as a performer. Y'all remember this group? Songs written by In Vogue. You notice did not come up? Because all their songs are written by Dallas Austin. Does that make sense? They were just performers. Why am I talking about this? Because speaking to get paid is just speaking to perform. If you stop doing the speech, there's no more money to be made unless you show up. But Rihanna, now, let me show you why this is important. This lady right here, she living in her car now because she ain't got no IP. She performed other people's songs that were written. She lives in her car for 4 years because they ain't nobody calling her to perform no more. I was talking to some top speakers yesterday. They said, look, what most speakers don't know is that sometimes you're the flavor of the month. But once your fees go up and somebody else hotter comes along, they start promoting them. And Vogue ain't been on tour in years. Does that make sense? Okay, y'all don't hear what I'm talking about. Is this relevant? Sharon, y'all know In Vogue, right? She living in her car. But we thought she didn't write them songs. She was a performer. Right? What is it? Elevator? Let me see what he's saying. The one line elevator pitch, bottom line SpeakerHub pitch. Yep. Yep. That's right. That's it. Right? So let's go here. Look at this. This is what she got paid, but she's in the car as a performer. TLC went broke. Right? 1995, they had only been out. Why? Minimum earnings after expenses were deducted. Why? Because they didn't write none of their songs. They were performers. Is this making sense? But Rihanna, billionaire. Not due to her singing career, but due to what? Fenty Beauty Cosmetics and her Savage Lingerie company. The business that she didn't have to go on the stage to get paid for. She used the stage to get famous from it, which is great. She used it as a marketing tool so that she could build notoriety and who she was for the bigger business that will pay her family forever. Is this making sense? So we want to use the stage to promote our other stuff. Bart has a movie, he has a book, he has other things. He's using the stage to get paid up front, to build an audience. But then as he launches into other things, he can use that audience to go. AJ uses the stage for one thing. As he builds that audience, other things. Kevin used the stage for this. As he builds that audience, he can launch whatever he wants. Got it? Is this a great example of how somebody was a performer and then she became a problem solver? We need makeup that are for women like me. We need lingerie with curvy bodies like mine. Any feedback on this? Do you see how at first it was about her showing up to perform? And then when she changed to it being about the other women and their makeup, you know, she didn't give no singing classes. Right? Because that's all about her. That was her thing. But when she made it about the women and makeup and clothing, does this make sense, Janika? Right? We're not performers. We're problem solvers. The most money is made by solving the bigger problems. Got it? No. Does that mean you shouldn't go perform? No, go perform. But if you can perform and solve a problem, get paid both ways, high five. All right, so now you ready to learn how to solve the problem? Ready? We got that part? We beat that horse to death, right? Okay, Alicia, tell me what you do. Let's make sure. One line, tell me what you do.
I help. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to say I help.
Wait, let me bring it back up. I'm not gonna give Erica advantage that I didn't give you. We believe in equality. There you go. You help this group to do this thing without the thing that they hate so that they can get the thing that they want.
I've always been told saying help is kind of like a negative word.
Okay, well, you can change it later.
Okay, all right.
Because right now you don't have the rest of the words. We got to get the basics first.
All right, so I help business leaders and key decision makers create a work environment that helps their staff feel valued, appreciated, and respected for the jobs they do.
Stop right there. Okay, go ahead. You can keep going,
So-
but you could have stopped right there and that would have been good, but keep going.
So that they can retain their top talent.
High five. Way to go.
Thank you.
That's good, right? Super duper high five. That's what we need to do. Work on that a little bit. Change the help if you don't like to do it. Like someone said, I equip federal employees. I, enable. You can change the words, but we got to get the basis right first.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Let's get the
Yes.
base, who we help, what do they want, what do they hate, what do they really want? How do we get that? Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
All right. So now here's the cool thing about that. If you tell somebody, I help people to do this without doing this so that they can get this, what's the next question?
How do you do that?
Exactly. So we did our 10-second, and then in our 30-second, we get to tell them how. Right? It's all by design, guys. I'm just not making this up. There's a system to it. But if we don't get the 10 seconds right, that 30 seconds gonna sound like trash.
Mm-hmm.
Because we give the 30-second in the 10-second spot. And we don't give them the ability to be curious about how. You notice I didn't say, I help entrepreneurs email strangers, right? Somebody wouldn't do that. Email strangers so that they can beg them to speak on their conference. Yeah, I don't want to do that. But keep my dignity and keep my money at the same time, right? But if I put their desires first, then we say, well, how, right? Yeah. Imagine this. Sharon, you want to go on a vacation?
Of course.
Okay. So here's how it's going to go. You're going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Okay. You're going to put all your stuff in a bag, in two bags. You're going to take them to the airport. You're going to wait there for 3 hours. Go through all the security checks. Wait in line, right? When you wait in line, you're going to hear a message that say your plane been delayed another hour, right? You're going to get on the plane and somebody going to have used the bathroom in the front of that plane and they didn't do number 1 or number 2. They did number 3, okay? So now this is the worst plane ride ever, right? Your knees bumping up against the person's seat in front because they got a kid in the front seat doing this and looking over. And then the kid behind you is smacking you on the back of your head with their toy. You do that for 3 hours. When you finally get there, as soon as you walk out the airport, everybody gonna be saying, taxi, taxi, need a taxi, need a taxi, hey, taxi, taxi. And you know they're all crooks trying to overcharge you, right? But you finally get into the airport and don't nobody speak English. They all speak Mandarin. And you're like, I don't speak Mandarin, Spanish, nothing. Then you get into the taxi and they drive you to your place and finally you get to the hotel. Don't that sound like an exciting trip to to the Philippines? Yeah, well, you describe it like that, don't nobody want to go. But that's what we go through because we want to go to visit the DR. That's what we endure because we want to go to the Maldives or we want to go to Greece. But if they sold it like that on a commercial, America would have an immigration problem. We'd all be at home. we would never leave. If they describe Brazil like that, like, man, going to Brazil, I got to put the toilet paper in the trash can instead of in the toilet. I ain't never going to South America. But most people don't know that until you get to South America and you see all the signs that say, don't put the toilet paper in the trash can. Is this making sense? Y'all get it now. That's how important getting your message is. A lot of us describe our businesses like that TSA flight, going through pre-check. Somebody gonna bang you over the head. They gonna do this. And then you're gonna have to do this. And then once you do that, I heard someone on a call, and that's how they describe what they did. What do? And then you go through this. And once you do that, then you do that. And once you get to this funnel, then you do that. And then once you opt into this, and it's like, dude, I don't want what you got no more. It was cool at first, but I don't want it. Is this helpful? All right, y'all ready for the main part? Here we go. Let's do it. Let's go to it. Y'all still got y'all link? You got the link I put in the chat? Does anybody not have the link that I put in the chat? Does anybody not have the link?
I
Everybody
don't
got
have
it?
it. I don't
Okay,
have
let's
it.
put it. Let
Oh,
me put it
okay.
back. It's back in the chat right now. You see it? Make sense? Okay, so my link is going to be generic, but you need to follow these steps. So I'm going to show you what to do. So let's write it out. So let me bring it up here. And you see how it says, as I mentioned, well, I would never start a conversation like that. So I leave this generic so that I can write in whatever I'm talking about, right? So I come over here, go here, 1 second. This is where you write your 1-sentence statement. I help speakers to get booked for paid speaking gigs. I probably should update this. I help entrepreneurs to get booked for paid speaking gigs, podcast interviews, and press coverage so that they can get more clients without having to dance on TikTok. Boom. Right? Does that make sense? You got that? Y'all got y'all first statement down. So open up a Google Doc if you don't have one and write down your first statement. It's because you got to tell people what you do. Make sense?
Ron,
Yep.
I don't know if I have the right one because mine was asking me about coaching.
I know, but that's just the example set of questions. You have to modify it yourself. When you open yours up, it says this. As I mentioned, I was giving consideration of joining the coaching industry.
Okay.
This is just the base model of questions. I can't do one for Jadika, Alicia, Kevin,
Right. Okay.
AJ. I'm just going to give you the base questions that you can modify on your own because you know your business better than me.
Okay. Okay.
Is that fair?
Yes, it does.
So you need to add a line to the, so basically what you're going to do is come over here, copy this into a Google Doc
Okay.
so that you can work on it yourself, right? So add a line at the top. This is what I do, right? And then you say, I'm giving serious consideration to working specifically with accountants, right? Or whatever. So I can focus in that on the people I want to work directly with. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Before I make that decision, I would appreciate hearing your thoughts on the industry and what do you think about joining it. Now, I'll give you an alternative line to this that I think is even more easier for you all to do, right? Over the next month, use this line instead. I am completing a survey of 200 people to learn more about the problems they face. Right? Is that a good line? So you introduce yourself and then you tell them what you're doing. I'm trying to do a survey of 200 people. It's not a sales pitch. You notice we put it out as a survey. Does that make sense? Jadika, is this making sense here? Right? Right? Would you be willing to give me 6 or 7 minutes to answer a few questions at the end of the survey? I will share the results with you. So that's how you get people to do it. Does that make sense? Because you got to talk to them before they get to this page. Hey, Jadika, I help entrepreneurs to get booked for paid speaking gigs, podcast interviews, and press coverage so that they can get more clients without having to dance on TikTok. Over the next month, I'm trying to complete a survey of 200 people to learn more about the problems that they face. Would you be willing to give me 6 or 7 minutes to answer a few questions? At the end of the survey of the 200 people, I'll share the results with you and everyone else who helped me. Right? Is that cool? So that's how we get in. Right? Don't show them this because you're just going to read it. Okay? When you get them on Zoom, you say, hey, Kevin, thanks for taking the time. As I mentioned, I help entrepreneurs to get booked for podcasts, paid speaking gigs, and press coverage so that they can get more clients without having to dance on TikTok. Over the next month, I'm completing a survey of 200 people to learn more about the problems that they face. Would you be willing to give me 6 or 7 minutes to answer a few questions? At the end of the survey, I'll share the results with you and everyone else who helps me.
Sure.
Cool. You see, I just read it. But did you see the script? No, just don't share your screen. Right? But I just clicked off and read it to you. Right? And if you want to even be a little bit more upfront, you can say, I don't have anything to sell you. Right? This isn't a sales call. So that relieves that barrier. Usually the 6 or 7 minutes is usually enough because most people don't think you can sell them in 6 minutes. Does that make sense? Cool. Right? So now that we have that part, if they say, yeah, I would love to set up a time to do it. Because sometimes people may not, you can send this in a message on Facebook to your friends on Facebook. You can text this to people. Right? Here's how I did it. I did it on LinkedIn. What is it? Right? I did it on LinkedIn, and here's what I sent. Hey, we're both in the speakers group. Love to have your feedback on a project I'm working on. I'm creating a search engine, still in the early days. Would love to show it to you. Are you open to talk for 10 minutes? Right? I was very upfront with him. I ain't have nothing to sell him. I just wanted to ask him about it. Does that make sense, Jadika? Right? So just, let's see. Leonardo, nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you
That's
for
cool.
having me.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm Ron Story. I'm the head of speaker booking at SpeakerHub. And what you're in right now is our normal 12 o'clock Eastern daily call that we do called Speaker Co-working, where we help speakers to in our community to learn how to get on more stages, get more clients, get paid more for their speaking gigs, right? You want to introduce yourself? I'm sure some people here may be able to help you or would be interested in you helping them.
Okay, thank you. I'm from Brazil. I have some books published. All my speakings are from my books, and I'm introducing a new book for this year. So I'm just interested to have more gigs and more space to talk about it.
Cool. What's your books about?
I'm from communication, and my two previous books are about communication. One is about branded content for my method. I worked with it for my whole career. The other one is about the streaming market in Brazil and in the world, how it impacts Brazil. And the third one is about the professional managerial class, how it impacts the young professionals. So that's what I'm talking about now, and I'm studying, and my PhD is about it. So that's what I'm introducing from this book on.
Okay, perfect. So what we're talking about right now, and then we'll get into, I'll talk to you more about the speaking. What I'm going over with them right now is how do they get more consulting clients from speaking? Does that make sense? So give us about 5 more minutes. I'll go through this and then, but I think you'll learn a lot. So just, walk along with us, okay? So you can see I use the same introduction, guys, in order to get hundreds of these done. I mean, so I only teach what I've done. You see all these people, I asked the same question. A lot of them told me no, they didn't even reply back, but I kept asking. Does that make sense? Right? But some people did reply back. Alpish replied back, right? Different people replied back. Some people didn't say nothing, but I asked hundreds of folks to help me. Robert Willis, right? He responded back with a bunch of other stuff, right? Lauren, different people replied back, right? So this is, I'm showing you what we did in order to get these clients. This is how we built PitchDB. Remember, PitchDB was launched in November 2019. I'm still 6 months in and I'm doing this in May. We weren't perfect. We were still figuring it out. So I was trying to get more clients. I needed more. Make sense? So let's go back to our question here. So this is how you get the meeting. So Leonardo, do you offer any other services besides speaking? Do you offer consulting or anything like that?
I do.
Okay. How do you find your customers for consulting?
Probably more on Instagram than on LinkedIn. And I'm much bigger on LinkedIn than Instagram. So that's tricky for me.
Okay. And do they come to you or do you go get them? Are you running advertising? How do you find the customers?
Most of them, they come to me, most of them.
Okay. And do you have as many as you want or do you want more?
No, I want more. I need more.
Okay. Ride with us on this journey. I'm going to show you how I got 3,000 people to pay me using this survey. And I'll show you how they paid us, right? So that's what I'm teaching right now, okay? So we call it the survey method. And basically what you do is you go and you start with 5 people. The goal of this call is to get you all 25 leads by Monday. If you just do what I tell you, you'll have 25 leads by Monday. So the intro is this, Leonardo. We need to sum up what you do in one sentence. So can you tell us what you do in one sentence and we'll help you fix it?
What I do, one sense, I help companies, audiovisual production companies, TV companies to set their projects for the markets, to go to market.
Okay, perfect, right? So that's great. That was good. Here's the format that we use that we think is incredible, right? We help this avatar. So you help companies to set their products to go to market, but you didn't mention the pain without the thing that they hate, right? So that they can get the outcome that they want. Does that make sense? So I would say I help companies. What your target audience is, what types of companies?
The TV production companies.
Okay, TV production companies to take the product to market, right? What's a problem that they run into all the time?
They're not with the best format to go to market. So I help them to go to market with the best format, the best project. That's what I do for them. They're
Okay.
much more creative than business oriented.
Okay, and what's the outcome that they're looking for though?
They're looking for to have this project ready to go to market and to find the customers to sponsor it.
Okay, perfect. So I help television production companies to prepare their projects to go to market, prepare their projects for the market without having to reformat, without having to waste time reformatting in the future so that they can find a customer.
Yes,
Does that sound about right?
Yes, they can be more assertive.
Right? Exactly. Right. So now that we know that, here's how we do it. We think it's really cool, right? I promise you, production companies are nosy. Okay. They want to know what their competitors are doing. They're always wondering about all these other things, right? So what we do is we just survey it. We say, hey, I help production companies to, avoid all of these issues so you can go to market and find the right customers. Over the next month, I'm planning on surveying 200 different companies to learn more about the problems that they're facing. Would you be willing to help me by answering a few questions for 6 to 7 minutes? And at the end of the survey, I'll share all the results with you, anonymized, of everyone who answered the survey. Is that fair? Right? So now that we've gotten to that part, here's what you do. You already know who you're meeting with. If you don't know their name, their occupation and date, you put that stuff in, guys. Right? You go ahead and you answer that. And then we do a process called funneling. So your first question would be, tell me your experience working with whatever you do. In my case, it was the coaching industry. In Leonardo's case, it may be in the formatting industry. What industry would you say you're in, Leonardo?
We would say TV industry. It's pretty clear.
Right. So tell me your experience with working with a broad version of what you do. Coaching, software, speaking industry, whatever. Right. So if I were to talk about speaking, I'll walk through it. I'll use Leonardo as the example. Tell me your experience with working with in the public speaking industry.
Mine.
Mm-hmm.
I have I think I'm pretty experienced in working in the speaking industry, much more in Portuguese than in Brazil, and much more in live streaming than in person. I would like to be more in person to the speaking gigs.
Okay. And what do you think a booking agent should do for you?
They could help me find. They could help me finding the right events, the right approach to offer my speaking, and I think that.
Okay. In regards with previous booking agents, what have they done that you've liked the most?
Yeah, I've never had a booking agent, so I think that does not apply. Maybe.
Okay. So who do you rely on now to get you booked?
On me and my contacts, and in the previous contact I post on LinkedIn and Instagram.
Okay, perfect. Right. What area do you wish an agent or an agency would improve for you?
In which industry you say, right? In what area you mean?
For your speaking. Yeah, for your speaking.
In content.
What problem do you want us to solve for you?
To help me find the bookings, to get more bookings.
Okay. And how do you currently find your bookings and solve that problem yourself or your team?
I'm not really focused on that. That's what I'm trying to solve it.
Okay, cool. And how often do you think about it?
This problem, quite a few times.
Okay, all
They
right.
have bookings that comes to my mind.
No, that makes sense. And if I would decide to work with people in the television industry in Brazil, what would be the best way to approach people similar to you?
Get in the ring because the market's pretty much like LA. It's pretty concentrated, the same people, the same industries, all. So you have to get in the ring.
Okay, in the network. That's
In
when
the
you say
network.
ring. Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure I understood what you said by ring. And how would you not want to be approached?
How I would not want to be approached and I don't know. I think I don't have an answer for that. No.
Okay. And what are the typical ways you communicate with other people in your ring or network?
Instagram, social media, and from colleagues in the market. That's the way I do it.
Okay.
We
And what's
have
probably
to
the best?
scale, right? We have to scale. I cannot scale that way.
Okay. And what's the best way to, or best time to reach someone in your network? Is it in the daytime, the nighttime, on the weekends,
Daytime.
weekdays?
No, daytime, weekdays.
Okay. And if you were in my shoes and you were going to work with people like yourself, what product would you offer yourself?
Can you repeat, please?
If you were gonna, if
I
you
heard
were
you.
me
Right. Okay.
and
If
you
I
were gonna
were
solve your own problem, what product would you offer yourself?
a way to reach more. Actually, what I would offer myself is a way to not depend on the same network to have more speakings.
Okay, perfect. And one last question. How would you market to people like you?
Social media.
Okay. And if someone could get you your outcome, what would you pay? You can make up a number. This is just us role playing. So,
$1,000.
okay. And what's the time horizon well, actually, what is the outcome you're looking for? More podcast interviews, speaking gigs?
Speaking gigs, but podcast interviews are actually podcast interviews is a way to amplify the consideration for my speaking gigs. So speaking gigs would be the goal.
Okay. And in what time horizon? How fast? Would you want a speaking gig next week or more
No,
just consistently over time?
On this semester.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So what did you think about the survey that I just asked you?
It's cool. It's pretty consistent.
Okay. If I decided to start working with people in your industry, would you have any objection to me discussing your situation with you sometime in the future after the survey?
No.
Okay. Right. And one final question. Would you be willing to complete the survey by suggesting a few people I could ask these same 12 questions I just asked you?
To people from my industry.
Yeah, other people like you, because I need to get this 200 questions answered.
I guess it would be okay.
Okay, perfect. That's the survey, guys. You just read the script. I mean, like, you just read the script. Now, here's the cool thing. We were acting, but he gave me the real answers. Did you all see that? Did you see that, Kevin? It's the real answer. So now I know the problems we solve. Now, we asked him these questions beforehand, so he knows the answers. But this is how that survey works, so that you can start generating leads now, right? Ange, you got to leave? Okay. See you later. All right. So, Leonardo, quick question, really quickly. Could you see yourself using that survey to get more consulting clients?
I guess so.
Okay. Right. So that's how we show you how to get more consulting clients. Let me take a break really quickly and show you how I can get you more speaking gigs, right? Because that's really what you came for. But if you can get more consulting clients also, that makes it great. So here at SpeakerHub, we want you to make more money consulting, make more money speaking on and off the stage. On the stage is just one thing. Usually the on the stage pushes people to your marketing, your consulting, the other things that you do to get more clients. right? And we do that through inbound and outbound leads. On the inbound side, we can help you by giving you a space in our directory of over 60,000 speakers that over 10,000 event planners search through in order to find speakers for their events, right? So if I put in here the film industry, you'll see it'll bring up everybody who's in the film history, women in film. You see that? Television, so forth and so on. These are different speakers that speak on that topic, right? So you can search, but you'll be in here. So we call that inbound. That's when somebody's looking for you and they reach out to you. What I think you would value the most is our ability to do outbound. This is where you can reach out to the people you want to be on outside of your ring or network. Does that make sense? So I actually live in Colombia, right next door to Brazil. So here we use SpeakerHub Pro and AI as a way to match you with the right podcasts, the right associations, the right conferences, so that you can go on the right stages. So let me show you. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in Leonardo, and this is just a demo. Leonardo Mara. What's the name of your business, Leonardo? You're muted. Your system's muted.
Sorry. It's branded content.
Branded content?
Yes.
Okay. Right. And are you out of Rio de Janeiro?
Sao Paulo.
Or okay, Sao Paulo.
It's with a O, not a U.
Okay, sorry about that. Like that? Or did I mess that up?
Yes, yes. No. Then it's a U. Yes. So
Okay, sorry about that. Speaker, what do you have a different job title? Or do you just go by speaker?
no, it can be speaker.
Okay. And you gave me your thing of what you do. I help television folks, so we can take that and I can put this in here.
Yeah, semi companies to go to market. Yeah.
Yep. And you have a website?
Yes, brandedcontent.com.br.
All right. And are you on LinkedIn?
I am.
Okay.
That I'm the third one.
Yeah, longer hair. In that photo, let's see. All right. So in the past, when I ran the agency for 6 years, I would go and look at your website, look at your LinkedIn, try to write a bio for you to make sure that we understood what you did. Now we use AI to do that. So it's going out, looking at your LinkedIn, looking at your website, and in about 20 seconds, is going to have a bio for you that replaces this one. And here it is. I'm Leonardo. Tell me if this feels accurate.
Yes.
All right. So watch what happens. Now, when I click on podcast, it's bringing me into different podcasts that you may be a great guest on, right? About production, about all these different things that people may want to be on, right? But I could always just type in film, right? And it's going to bring up all the film podcasts or television, right? And it's going to bring up all the television podcasts. So let's say you want to go on this one, you click on it, you can learn about the podcast, see that they interview people, listen to it if you want, but add it to a list and then click pitch. And in 10 seconds, it's going to look at your bio, look at that podcast, and write the introduction email for you. And there it is. All right. So we give you access to 3.5 million podcasts because we want to help you expand that circle, right? But we also have different associations you can go talk with. So we type in film, brings up 373 film associations around the world that have monthly talks monthly meetings with their people, and you can reach out to them about what you do. Right? You can come in, you can type in television. Brings up all the different television stations and associations. And let's say, for instance, the New York Women in Film, right? You can click on here. That's what she does. You can reach out to her and see if it makes sense for you to come give a talk. The Idaho Public Television Foundation, blah, 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 right? But all you do is add it to a list, click pitch, and it's going to write the email introducing you to the person in charge at this association. Right? Same thing with conferences. Right? So it's bringing up different creative industries that you can go talk to, right? But you can override that and type in film. And it's going to bring up different film conferences or television conferences, right? Or media, right? Where you can click there, reach out to Lainey, and see if they'll have you as a speaker there. Every email and contact outreach that you do is stored here, so you can follow up. You can put in your notes. You can do whatever is necessary in order to be able to make sure that they at least know who you are, and you're expanding that network of yours by building more relationships. Does this seem to be appropriate to solve your problem?
Yes. Seems
Right?
cool. Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, so this is what we do. You heading out, Kevin? Or you got a question? Okay, all right, I'll see you later. So yeah, this is what we do. We help speakers to get booked on more stages using those two tools, the directory so that people can find you, but the database so that you can do the outreach to the people who want to hear your message, who may want to use your products and services. See you later, Sharon, and things of that sort. Got it? Any other questions for me?
So how do we start to use it?
Yep.
Yeah, what's
So,
the trade-off?
yep. So I'm going to give you a couple things here. I don't know is Michelle and Leroy, you all still here? I don't think they're still here. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'll sign off.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know if y'all were still here. Yeah, because I'm pretty much done for the day. We went on for 2 hours. That was a pretty long meeting. But,
Yeah.
all right. See you later.
All right, thanks, Ron.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. All right. Yep. So yeah, I'll show you basically. So let me give you, I'm going to put a link in the chat here on in the chat room so that you can go ahead and create a profile. That link, let me know if you got it. It says upgrade at the end.
Sorry, I could not get it. Sorry.
In the chat there, I put a link. Do you see it?
I'm sorry. Okay.
In the Zoom chat?
Okay, I just clicked it. Okay.
Yep. And you can create a free profile in our directory.
Okay.
Right. The reason why I have everyone meet with me is because people try to put their companies in instead of, they're not speakers, but they want to, do free advertising on our platform. So I just meet with everybody to make sure that they don't do that.
Perfect.
Right?
Okay.
And then for the directory, it could be as low as $59 a month to use the database. So what I'll do is I'll send you an invite. We do something called a 5-day challenge. And it's basically where we walk you through it. We send you little videos for 5 days, walking you through how to use the system.
Okay.
Right? So you can go in, you try it. There's nothing to pay. You just go in and try it. And then at the end of the 5 days, we ask if you want to use it. And then that's when we walk through the price. But there's no reason to go into all the pricing if you don't like it in the first place. And if you're not getting any results, you're not going to want to use it to begin with. So I'll send you an email with that. But at worst, go ahead and get in the directory. And then I'll follow up with an email on how we can get you into the other system.
Okay, and the production of these features that we have to accomplish in our profiles, we have to make it, right?
Yeah, you have to put your own profile in there and send your own emails, but we don't take any commissions or anything. So if you get booked,
I understood. I got it. I got it. Can I do it later because I have to finish the edition of this book that I'm publishing.
oh yeah,
So,
you can do it whenever you want. I
yes.
just wanted to give you the option.
Oh, perfect.
Right?
Perfect.
So you see that link that I just gave you there? Just
Yes.
go ahead and create the free thing. Just sign up for free so that you're in the loop.
Perfect.
And whenever you want to get started, go ahead. But
Perfect.
here's what I'll tell you. When your book is coming out, and you probably already know this, you want to promote the book before the book is live, right?
Exactly.
And we
Yes.
can help you to start getting on podcasts and things like that for that book launch ahead of time. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes, it does. I just checked it in with my LinkedIn account, so I'm
Yep.
just
Cool. So you should already be in the loop, and then we'll be in touch. We'll help you to promote your book and get on more stages. We want you to
Okay.
get paid from speaking, man. We don't want you speaking for free. We want you to make some money from it, you know?
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for me?
No, it's fine.
Was this helpful?
Yes, it is. Where are you in Colombia?
I'm in Medellin.
I don't know.
Medellin is the second largest city outside of Bogota.
Really? Ah, in Medellin. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no.
Medellin. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Medellin, Colombia.
Yeah, sure. Medellin. Medellin.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on which city you're in, they say it different, even in Colombia. In Cali, it's Medellin with the y, Medellin. But
Yes.
inside of the city, it's Medellin with the j, Medellin. So since I lived here for the last 8 years, I now say Medellin instead of when I lived in Cali, we used to say Medellin with the Y.
Yes.
It's just depends on where you are, you know. But any other questions for me?
No, it's okay. Thank you, Ron. Thank you for having me.
No, we'll help you to get on some more stages, I promise.
Okay.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.